So I was born and raised in Perth in Australia, and went to uni there and did engineering, and got my first job actually with Wood Group at the time, in the Perth office, and worked there for a few years. My partner's actually from the UK, so wanted to make the move out to the UK, and so Aberdeen was where I ended up. So very fortunate, I have to say, and it's something I do try and remind myself of. Just a nice sort of middle class upbringing. Went to a nice public school and in a nice spot, and good friends and little holidays every now and then, all that type of stuff. I mean, never anything too extravagant, but a really fortunate upbringing. I'll probably get in trouble with the Aussies for saying this. We're supposed to sort of big up the stereotypes that make us all seem really tough, but to be honest, I'm pretty much a city kid through and through. It can be so easy to just assume that everyone's had a relatively easy upbringing, free from these types of challenges and additional steps or things that you need to do or to navigate to achieve the same things that I've been able to achieve. No, I don't feel that I've suffered greatly from adverse stereotypes. I mean, if anything, if there is such a concept of positive stereotypes, you have people that have these stereotypical views, and potentially I've gained advantages, which is obviously completely unfair and something to obviously try and stay mindful of. I don't know if excluded's the right term. It's just more I arrived in a place, but in an office where I had no connections with anyone. At best, I think would maybe give me a small window into what it may be like for people that are excluded. I certainly didn't feel any great barriers there. It's obviously a process to get to know people, and that takes a little bit of time, but I don't think I suffered any exclusion or anything like that. It's always nice to push boundaries, and that was a really fun, exciting time to take this big step. Inclusion would mean treating everybody exactly the same, and ensuring that everybody has the same opportunities to do the same things as everybody else. Trying to remove those barriers so that everybody, no matter whatever your choices, whatever who you are as a person, whatever your background in many different ways, you don't face additional barriers to do the same things as everybody else. In my previous role as the chair of the DPN, when the time came to actually expand the team that we had, the global committee that helped to run the DPN, we just went through a natural process of asking people to volunteer or submit expressions of interest, answer some questions, and I was really, really pleased that the natural outcome of that process was this really diverse team. We had representation from just about every sort of, I suppose, certainly every time zone that Wood operates in. We really covered the globe quite well. We had a good gender split. We had people from different ethnic backgrounds, and we were mindful of that going in, that was obviously a desirable outcome, but we never had to force it. I was very proud of that's how, not that it really had anything to do with me, but in a sense, right? It's just what happened. But I always found that really satisfying, that was the outcome of that process, and we were able to get that really diverse team in place. Yeah, I do genuinely feel that I do quite a good job of just treating people completely the same, no matter who they are, what their background is. That's, I suppose, my approach is I genuinely don't care, what your racial background is, what languages you speak, what your sexual orientation, your gender, all these types of things. It's not particularly relevant to me. Particularly we talk about this in a professional context when we're all here working together to do a job. I can say, I would like to think I would call anything out if I suspected or even outright witnessed something obvious that was not being inclusive. More Than a Place is about doing more than token gestures, I suppose you could say, right? It's making sure that we don't just give people a chance and a little box to stand on and say a couple of nice things, and then make the same decisions that we would have made anyway, or do the same things we would have done anyway. It's about allowing these different voices to be heard, and to allow them to genuinely impact the decisions that go on to be made, and potentially even divert businesses and leaders from the path that they otherwise would have taken. We do know that various groups are still underrepresented, and that we're not hearing crucial points of view. These things that have sometimes been seen by other people to be a barrier to of someone's ability to actually provide valuable input, we now know that that's just not true, that we need to hear from these various groups, these various types of people, and genuinely hear them and genuinely allow them to actually change our course when we're making key decisions.